Council meeting of North Branford, Connecticut to order on Tuesday, February 18th at 6:37 p.m. Please join me in a salute to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Councilor Miller will not be here tonight, and Deputy Mayor McMillan is running about 15 minutes late, but we are going to start the meeting anyway. At this time, roll call. Here.
Councilor Abelson. Councilor
Here.
Councilor Diamond.
Here.
Councilor Palladino.
Here.
Councilor Felicia.
Here.
Councilor Gold.
Here.
And Councilor Hammond.
Here.
Okay. Next item is minutes of the previous meeting of January 21st, 2025, WPCA and Town Council meeting. Do I have a motion? Motion to approve?
Second.
Motion was made by Councilor Diamond, seconded by Councilor Felicia. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstained? Motion carries.
I'd like to make a motion to amend the agenda to add 2025 steep grant application to after 13E.
Okay, do I have a second?
Second.
Second. Was that Councilor Abelson?
Yeah, but we can take it.
Oh, okay. You're in a very generous mood tonight, Councilor Abelson.
I have no money.
Okay. Motion was made by Councilor Palladino, seconded by Councilor Diamond. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstained? Motion carries. On to WPCA agenda. First item is correspondence and citizen statements regarding WPCA. Unfinished business, none. There's nothing listed under new business. And we have citizen statements again under the WPCA. So let's move on. Okay, the public hearing is slated for 7 o'clock, so we will just continue on our agenda until we get to that point. Moving on to the regular town council meeting. First item is community events and presentations. First item is presentation of plaques to Ronald Onofrio. He is here.
I'm sorry. Who'd you say?
On behalf of the town council, we would just like to thank you for your, and recognize you for your service on the fire commission, and we appreciate everything that you did.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Okay, the next item is a presentation from Judy Barron from the community dining room.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for your time this evening. Appreciate you having us. I'm also here with my vice chair and chair from the community dining room. They're going to speak as well. I know that I have a limited amount of time and you have a very long agenda, so I'm going to move myself along quickly. I provided you all with a North Branford equity report that I think Gina might have sent over to you guys in your packets. And you can just read that at your leisure, and it gives you some statistics on poverty levels in the community, kind of why the need for the community dining room is present. So I'm here tonight just to share a little bit about our services and some of our needs. And this year marks a milestone for our community dining room, celebrating our 40th anniversary of serving neighbors in need and being the heart of the Shoreline community. So if those of you that don't know, we are a local soup kitchen serving North Branford, Branford, East Haven, and Guilford, as long as the stretch of the shoreline for anyone in need. Since our founding, we've remained committed to ensuring that no one in our community goes hungry offering warm meals, support, and a place of belonging to those who need it most. Food insecurity is a challenge that no one should have to face. A meal is more than just nourishment. It is comfort, stability, as well as hope. The work that we do at the community dining room and serving meals, we provide vital resources that help individuals and families get ahead. So from nutritional support and referrals to social services, to offering educational programs that foster self-sufficiency, we strive to empower our participants toward a more secure future. Moreover, the space that we have on site at the dining room is a gathering place where volunteers and community members can come together for the greater good. Our dedicated volunteers serve and deliver meals and also build meaningful relationships, creating a sense of belonging and strengthening the bonds of our community. Their kindness and compassion are the foundation of our mission, and we are deeply grateful for the services that they give. But beyond the dining room, we believe in taking our mission directly into the community, such as North Branford. We provide meals in locations where they're needed most. And for nearly 2 decades, the homebound delivery program in North Branford has been a vital service for elderly participant residents, providing meals to those who are unable to leave their homes. Operating 3 times a week for delivery, the program delivers both a hot and cold meal each day, ensuring consistent nourishment for the participants in need. In 2023, just to give you some statistics, alone 3,137 meals were served to elderly participants in North Branford. And in 2024, the program provided 2,810 meals to approximately 20 to 30 rotating individuals, always open seats available for anyone in need of those services. Additionally, 12% of all the meals served annually, including our homebound meals, go directly to individuals from North Branford and Northford. The amounts to approximately 6,000 meals provided to over 300 different individuals in this community each year, with the average cost estimated by Feeding America being $4.17, representing approximately $25 in food expense and does not include the additional costs of packaging. So this initiative plays a crucial role in supporting the well-being of our most vulnerable residents, and continued support is essential for us to remain sustaining to the impact. So with our collaborations with Parks and Recreation and the Senior Center, together in the past, we've raised funds to help continue these needed programs. Your previous rec director willingly took a pie in the face in supporting us in generating some funds for our programs in a nice fundraising activity that we did this past year. With the help of your North Branford Fire Department and your building officials, our volunteers were able to rehab a home for an elderly gentleman, a Northford resident, to return to his once uninhabitable dwelling. With the help of the North Branford and Northford residents, the meals are being delivered to those in need of the community as well. And with the help of the Town Council in the past, in 2023, we were able to receive funding that helps sustain our current programs. And we hope these collaborations and efforts continue to help us remain sustainable. I'm going to turn the remainder of my time to our Vice Chair and Chair to offer a little more insight on our mission and needs. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Michelle Benavenia, and I wanted to take a moment to introduce myself. Many of you may remember me from my previous role as the Director of Administration and Management for the Town of East Haven, where I facilitated the agreement between North Branford and East Haven for animal control services. Additionally, during my time in East Haven, I worked closely with Judy Barron, the Executive Director of the CDR, to bring their vital services to East Haven. Since that partnership began 2 years ago, East Haven has made significant strides addressing food insecurity. The community dining room has provided weekly meals to approximately 150 residents, and homebound almost the same amount on the weekends each month. And these services have made a measurable impact on the well-being of our residents. Although my tenure in East Haven has come to an end, my dedication to fighting food insecurity has not wavered. I am now honored to serve as the town manager for Clinton, and I have also taken on the role of vice chair of the community dining room, where I continue to support and advocate their mission. I have seen firsthand the critical role the CDR plays in strengthening communities, and I know how essential these services are to the residents in need. As a fellow town leader, we all share the challenge in balancing financial responsibility while ensuring support to our most vulnerable residents. The funding allocated to the CDR and North Branford's budget is essential for the continuation of these direct services. The data speaks for itself. The community dining room serves North Branford residents in partnership with the Senior Center, North Branford Women's Club, and the Recreation Department and the schools. The CDR cannot do it alone. They rely on town funding to sustain the level of support they provide to the North Branford residents. I urge you to continue investing in this partnership and ensuring that no resident goes without food and assistance they need. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Hi, folks. As you know, my name is Dan Arman, and I live in town here, North Branford, and I know people associate the CDR with Branford, but I assure you, community members are involved with CDR here in town. I'm the chair. I've been involved with home delivery. I've been involved with rehabbing property to make it inhabitable for residents, and we do rely on the town to assist us with providing for the town and what the town's residents needs. So thank you very much for your time, and that's my cleanup.
Thank you. Okay, we are going to move on to reports of committees, boards, and commissions. First one is economic development, and that is Councilor Miller, who is not here. I just want to say that the food or the restaurant month has started February 1st, and we have a number of restaurants participating. So there's signs on the doors here, and there's also stuff posted on Facebook. But so far, I think it's going quite well. I patronized several of the restaurants and have put my slip in, and so the prize is there's 12 gift certificates. There's one basket of 12 $25 gift certificates from the participating restaurants, and then there's a basket of $50 gift certificates from those restaurants also, 12 from those. So the more you patronize and get your tickets, the better your chances of winning. So next item is Park and Rec. Park and Rec met at the end of January. The biggest part of their agenda was going over their budget that they had to submit to the town manager by February 7th. So they focused on that, and also just reviewed the number of programs that they've gone through, their medical transportation, shopping with the seniors, their lunch counts have all been up, especially during the holiday season, so that's good to hear. They did approve the contracts for the Potato Fest for the bus company, and then there's a number of contracts that are already settled because they were multi-year contracts, and so they're in the final phases, so that is moving along. Police Commission.
The Police Commission met on February 10th. Walter and I attended the meeting. The first topic of conversation was the heating system, which continues to be a work in progress, and I'm sure the people who are on the building committee can probably add more to that. Chief Lovelace shared the 2025-2026 police communication budget request that he had. That took quite a while to go through. But I guess the highlight of the evening was the commission promoted Corporal Christopher Miserandino to the rank of sergeant.
Okay, thank you.
Rose, do you mind if I made a comment?
Sure.
Or a question to Anthony? It kind of pertains to the police.
Anthony, when I was at the police commission meeting, Officer Lovelace had mentioned that the phone bill was paid like multiple times. Like, it seemed like it was a very mixed up thing, but literally the phone bill for the police station. Could you address that?
I'll check.
Thank you.
Okay, all right, Fire Commission.
I was
Counselor
there,
Abelson,
actually. Thank
would you like to give a report since?
If I'm able.
Yep, you are.
So I'd like to thank the fire department, the fire commission, for affording me the opportunity to visit their meeting on February 8th. I had an excellent time. So I'd just like to do a couple of things. They recognized a couple of the fire people, the firemen, who actually did some excellent jobs of saving some lives in January. Kyle Conklin and Mark Jeanette For the elderly housing on 139, evidently there was a fire in the kitchen, and they went in and they saved the woman from the fire. Just recently, there was a CPR save on Forest Road. That was the North Branford Police Department, North Branford Fire Department, and the Branford Ambulance. And then just a couple of days ago, everybody heard the sirens go off. Evidently, that was the Central Plaza. And we had the 3-alarm from North Branford, plus Wallingford and East Haven. So kudos to our fire department for all they do and helping keep us safe. A couple of things that they actually did is they approved their budget for 25-26. And there's a couple of things in the budget that they'd like to make sure that we're aware of. And there's some saving gear that they use, I guess they're called Hearst tools, which the jaws of life that they desperately need. They need 2 of them, and that's in their budget. And also, I think they'll be requesting another engine, which they desperately also need because the other one, I believe, is 25 to 30 years old for engine number 1. And that was it. And thank you for letting me be part of their meeting. It was awesome.
So I see that there is a special meeting this Thursday for the Fire Commission. So I'm not sure do you know what company is that at?
Company 4,
Okay.
7 o'clock.
If
So,
they want me to go, I'm more than happy to be there.
if you're available and are free and would like to go, that would be great.
As long as my daughter doesn't have the baby, I'll be there.
Okay, great. Okay, next item is planning and zoning.
The next meeting is this Thursday.
Okay. Finance Subcommittee, the meeting was canceled last week due to several members were not able to come and also illness, so we didn't have the right people that could make it, so that was canceled and we'll be meeting next month. Public Safety Communications Subcommittee.
The committee met on February 12th. We spent a lot of time discussing some radio issues that the fire department's still having, and you'll be hearing more about that. Tom Lonsdale from the Board of Ed joined us, and we discussed the fact that there are some cell phone issues in terms of people being able to talk in the high school and get information out. We talked about some various ways of solving that problem, and Tom is going to come back to the committee in March to talk about some possible solutions to that problem. It's particularly an issue in public safety if there's an emergency and people can't call out. So that is something that public safety we're working on. That's it.
Okay, thank you. Next one is inland wetlands.
Inland Wetlands met on January 22nd. They approved construction of the Board of Ed storage facility.
Okay. All right. Blueprint Committee.
Blueprint Committee, there was a meeting, I was not in attendance, so I'm going to defer to Councilor Abelson.
Once again, thank you very much. So actually, it was a quick meeting. We talked about the properties that are in the special, in our public hearing that's coming up. We discussed all the properties, and we'd like for the council to consider that 1599 not go yet, as far as I know it's going to be on in our special meeting that's coming up, but we need to consider that one that we talked about. And 1672, we recommend that it goes to an agent because it actually is a 672 Tucket Road.
Mm-hmm.
We recommend that because it is a buildable lot, that it actually goes to an agent, put it out on the listing.
Well, then we would have to pay commission.
Well,
So what's, the
I
difference
mean, that was the
between
recommendation, so.
doing that
that's
and
it.
a sealed bid
I know,
is,
so.
no cost to the town, but, okay.
Hey, that was the recommendation, so.
All right.
If it's possible.
Okay.
And, I'm sorry. Glasses on. And we didn't have a report from the town center committee, because
Okay.
apparently they haven't met.
Okay. All right. Okay. So, let's It's not quite 7 yet, so we're going to use the time and start with the town manager's report, general update.
Sure. I'll try to shoehorn this in as quick
Okay.
as possible. You did actually cover some of the things I was going to talk about, but so good evening, Madam Mayor, members of the council. I love having some intro music. Winter snow response. So I want to thank the Public Works Department. We've had a couple of winter weather events since the last council meeting, and I do want to extend our thanks to the Public Works team who have had a few late nights or early mornings, depending on how you look at it, clearing our streets and making them safe for our residents and access to our businesses. They always do a tremendous job, and I do want to know how well they've been doing, and with all the weather the winter has thrown at us so far. Also, as Councilor Abelson mentioned, we did have the fire at Central Plaza. I want to lead off with thanks to the men and women of our fire and police departments. Sunday night, they responded to the fire at Central Plaza, quickly containing and extinguishing a fire that threatened multiple businesses. Our public safety team does a terrific job, and I just want to thank them for the work they do every day. Will Della Camera was honored by the Shoreline Chamber of Commerce, as was Marcia La Femina. You'll remember Will and the work he's done to advocate for small New England farms following the devastation at Chickarelli Harrison Hill Farms. They suffered from an August hailstorm, and famously riding his tractor to Washington, D.C., resulting in a federal block grant of $220 million to help small farms. The Chamber also recognized Marcia La Femina, CEO of Penn Globe, the oldest outdoor lighting company located here in North Branford, with the Excellence in Innovation Award for her vision in creating Match, manufacturing and technical community hub that helps the unemployed and underemployed find quality manufacturing careers. Mayor Angeloni and Assistant Town Manager Burke represented the town at this event Friday morning and presented citations to both of them on behalf of the town and congratulating them on their recognition. Mayor Angeloni already covered Restaurant Month pretty well. It's not like I needed an excuse to put on any more winter weight, but I did want to throw out the names of the restaurants involved. Taco Palace, Duty's Till Tuck It In, Katsu Restaurant, Hidden Kitchen, Route 80, Capone's Pizza Bar, Angiolo's Wood Fired Pizza, Supreme Seafood Restaurant, Giovanni's Pizza, Poppy's Coffee and Kitchen, Nada's Restaurant, Mill Pound Steakhouse, and Bobby's Pizza. And I urge everyone to also go out there and visit these great restaurants and earn a chance to win. A reminder that as we're still in winter weather, I'd like to put out the reminder that the PW department has salt and sand mix available for all town residents. You can fill up with a limit of 2 5-gallon pails in the Public Works headquarters at 290 Forest Road in Northford, 24/7 for private residential use and no contractors. We're preparing our work on the 25-26 town budget, and the council has previously approved our schedule for workshops. Our town departments have submitted their proposed budgets, and I'm in the process of meeting with all of them to develop the town side of the budget, which I'll propose to the council. As you're aware, Governor Lamont has presented his proposed biennial budget to the state legislature, and we received our grant figures from that budget proposal. Overall, we are down just 0.2%, or $14,240, with a significant increase in the motor vehicle reimbursement of $247,858, but significant cuts to education cost share of $254,111, and adult education of $8,330. The budget's now transmitted to the legislature, and I'll certainly be in touch with our state legislative delegation during the course of their budget deliberations. Their session adjourns the first week in June. Applications for the elderly homeowner, totally disabled homeowner, and additional veterans programs are available in the assessor's office now through May 15th, 2025. Applicants must be 65 by December 31st, 2024, or totally disabled by the Social Security Administrator to qualify. Please be sure to bring your 2024 federal tax return if you file one, and 2024 Social Security Statement 1099. If you do not file a return, you must provide proof of all forms of income, including but not limited to your 1099 statement, pension income, annuity income, interest, etc. No appointment is required, and questions can be directed to the assessor's office. They're at 203-484-6013. As council's aware from my communications to red-tailed hawks exhibiting signs of bird flu, H5N1, over the previous weekend, one from North Branford and one from Orange were tested. While the Orange hawk was negative, the North Branford one was positive. I've been in touch with Mike at the East Shore District Health over this development, as we are certainly concerned not only for the human safety with regard to potential mutations of the virus, but how contagious and fatal it is to domestic poultry. To date, no person-to-person transmission has been reported, and guidance that has been issued by the state DEEP, Department of Agriculture, and Department of Public Health is currently available on our town website. The revaluation process continues here in North Branford, with appeals going before the Board of Assessment Appeals in the first week of March. Assessment appeal forms are available on the town website and in the assessor's office. Forms must be completed and returned to the assessor's office by this Thursday, February 20th. The board is notifying appellants of their hearing date and time and location via email, or via mail, regular mail, sorry. And we do have our assessor, Dave Ambrose, here again this evening for some items that are appearing later on your agenda, and he's available should you have any questions on that revaluation topic as well. We held a ribbon cutting in conjunction with the Shoreline Chamber of Commerce to celebrate the opening of Mariana's Boutique and Gifts at 855 Forest Road in Northford. On February 1st, I was joined by Mayor Angeloni, Councilor Diamond, and Assistant Town Manager Burke for this event to welcome them. I was also joined by Mayor Angeloni, Assistant Town Manager Burke, and the Shoreline Chamber for an event to celebrate Supreme Seafood's 35 years of being in North Branford on January 30th at Supreme Seafood at 999 Foxen Road. We extend them to congratulate them on this milestone anniversary, bringing great seafood to our town. We have additional ones being planned, and the details will be coming to members of the council shortly. Our libraries are once again running their IRS Volunteer Income Tax Assistance Program, VITA, providing free help in preparing and filing state and federal income tax returns for those in need. Those interested should call either the Atwater or Smith libraries for the VITA coordinator's contact information. And lastly, I want to thank the Rotary Club of North Branford, who had me as their guest speaker at their January monthly dinner meeting at Nada's, where I discussed with the club many of the things we have going on here in North Branford. That concludes my report. Did I get it in under? It was 3 minutes over.
That's okay.
All right.
We're right there. Okay, so we are now going to start our public hearing. So there is a public hearing on the disposition of town-owned properties located at 1599 Foxen Road, 53 Nida Drive, 293 Sea Hill Road, 127 Old Post Road, and 672 Totucket Road. So there is a public notice that was in the paper, and Marie, would you like to read that?
Public notice, town council to hold public hearing on disposition of selected properties. In accordance with CGS Section 7-163E, the North Branford Town Council will conduct a public hearing on February 18th, 2025 at 7 p.m. in the council chambers in Town Hall, 909 Foxen Road, concerning the possibility of the sale of town-owned lands located at 1599 Foxen Road, 53 Neal Drive, 293 Sea Hill Road, 127 Old Post Road, 672 Totucket Road. All interested parties are invited to attend. Details on the properties are found on the www.northbranford.Connecticut.gov website.
Okay, so the public hearing is now open at 7:04 p.m. I just ask that when you come up, please state your name and address, and please come up to the microphone in the center of the room. So, who would like to be first?
I have a letter that somebody sent and asked me to read. I'll ask you if I should read that if somebody else wants to. Pardon me?
Is it Susan DeSilva?
No.
Oh, you have a different person? Okay, because I have one to read later.
Good evening, members of the council and neighbors. My name is Bonnie Szymanski. I live on West Pond Road and have lived in North Branford for over 30 years. I've served on a variety of town committees, including the Board of Ed, the Blueprint Committee, and the North Branford Land Conservation Trust. I speak to you today as a private citizen regarding the disposition of selected properties. I'm committed to open space, but at the same time, I believe in thoughtful development. The question is, why do we need to sell these properties? Partially to cover the debt incurred for the building of the large police station and renovating the high school. We still owe about $10.7 million bond for the police station and a $67 million bond for the high school. This is at a time when our population is decreasing. The town's intention is to sell 1599 to raise money for more building projects, which include an engineering and architectural study at the POCO grounds to create a new town center with a new town hall across from the police station. The idea is to sell the existing town hall to raise money for this project. That's why the council is not interested in keeping 1599. They would rather focus on building a new town center at the POCO grounds in Northford, but we have to pay off our current debt from the police station and high school. So is it really necessary to build a new town hall less than 2 miles from the one that we have? I believe North Branford would be better served if we created a vision for 1599 together as a community, which was done 10 years ago with Yale. Salient ideas from that study include the reuse of the trolley right-of-way as a recreational trail with pedestrian and cycle access, a gazebo, which would be a perfect place to gather after a parade. It could serve as a place for music or art exhibits. This park could include bike racks, a chessboard table, pollinator pathway, a walkway for baby strollers or walkers, or yoga classes. There could be food trucks and a farmer's market. In other words, 1599 should be a place where residents of all ages can enjoy our town. The properties at Nida Drive, Sea Hill Road, Old Post are small properties, some wetland, and I agree with disposing of these, offering them to abutters and to the public. Selling 1599 would be a big mistake. Not only does this property have historic value, as it is the site of the trolley trail, it offers real community opportunity. People can gather and enjoy this park. They can sit under the big shade tree during the summer, and children can ski down the hill. It's a gem in the center of our town, surrounded by strip malls with many vacant stores. In March 2015, Connecticut Magazine looked at trends that affect the housing market. A chart of the most valuable assets that bring a sale price over the asking price listed hiking trails as the #1 most valuable asset. Once 1599 is developed, it's gone. There's no reversing. In summary, if we find the right developer for a mixed-use plan for the property, this should be considered. Do not sell it all to a developer to put in another box for a medical center or a plumbing supply. We have a great town, a great hardware store, library, supermarket. Do not destroy what little we have left. Change is permanent. We need to think about what we want for our future. Thank you. Do you want someone else to read this, or do you want?
If you want to just submit it, I can do it with the other one. On here, that's fine. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. I'm Tom Smith. I'm the budding property owner at 127 Old Post Road. And Janet Canning is on the other side. I have a little history on the 127 Old Post Road. I was born and raised 3 doors away, so I've seen it for a long time. I'm not going to tell you how long. The property had a little small house on and a garage in the rear of the property with a couple of lean-tos known as Norfolk Sales and Service. It was used as a car and small truck repair shop. Over the years, it became a used car lot, mainly, and a junkyard. There were probably 30 or 40 cars, pickups in the yard. The town of North Branford took over the property in 1999 and removed the buildings and junk cars in 2000. I cleaned up the property, removed brush and Japanese knotweed, which is an invasive weed, and remaining junk over the next several years. As you can see on the field card, the property is contaminated, has wetlands on 3 sides of the property, and is also non-conforming. And it is not a building lot. With the above facts, I hope we can reach a reasonable value. Thank you very much.
Would anyone else like to come up and speak? Okay.
Kara Papa, 65 Great Hill Road, North Branford, Connecticut. Again, thank you all for being here. I'm a little conflicted, but I'm going to bounce off of Ms. Szymanski. I agree with everything she said, but I just want to give another lens to that. I think if $15.99, especially out of all these properties, is sold, it should definitely have a place where the money is going and written down, so all of us as townspeople know where that money is going. It shouldn't be just going into the general fund. It should be for exactly something. And I also agree with her, if we are going to sell it, it should be to a planned developer that we all have a voice in before it's sold. And I would just like to point one more thing out, and I don't like to hammer this, is the communication. So I've reached out independently to a bunch of people tonight, and the response I got was that they did not know. And I understand that this is at the legislative level at the state, which I'm in the process of reaching out to people to change. But in this day and age, we take for granted all of the communication. It's just too much. It gets submerged and nobody knows. So we need to really find a better way, maybe short term, like reminders the night before, because I think a lot more people would come and a lot more people would be informed. Thanks.
Is there anyone else here that would like to come up and speak?
Good evening. I'm Brian Benica. I'm at 40 Auger Road in Northford, and I was just concerned about the 672 Totucket Road property, just because I live in the neighborhood. I mean, I don't see what's wrong with it's being used for now. I see they use it kind of as a staging area when they do the haying, and it just, open space is great. And I think it adds value to this town. I think more value than we would get by putting a house on it and maybe the $9,000 a year in taxes that, you know, just doesn't seem to go far. It'd be better, I think, as open space. Just my opinion.
Okay.
Thank you all for hearing me.
Thank you. Okay, I'd like to read 2 letters into the record. Dear Mayor, the North Branford Town Council, the Committee on Economic Development, our town manager, and the North Branford Land and Conservation Trust. I have been a respected citizen, business owner, and supporter of our town. I have been an active member of the Wetlands and Watercourse Conservation Commission for many years. I've lived on West Pound Road my entire life. I am intimately familiar with the trolley trail, which runs through the woods from Westlake Avenue in Guilford to the Central Plaza in North Branford. While the Notch Hill Village was seeking wetlands approval, I fought for the right to have a pedestrian and bicycle path through the village, to which Robert Sachs had generously agreed to. The path crosses Notch Hill Road and passes through 1599 Foxton Road, just behind what used to be the baseball field, and then would cross 139 to the Central Plaza. This could provide access to what is a 300-home approved development to a commercial center. The project is feasible at a reasonable expense. If 1599 Foxton Road is sold off, this potential will be lost forever. I have traveled extensively throughout the country and have seen communities that have developed recreational pathways and rails to trails everywhere. People love these walks through nature's beauty. Businesses along these paths or at their destinations tend to thrive. It is widely published that the most desirable towns and cities that younger families seek must have outdoor activities and spaces to enjoy. Should you desire more information about the trolley trail and its potential, I'm sure members of the Land Trust could provide you with more. But please understand that the possibility of a natural passageway to the center of town is totally dependent on the preservation of 1599 Foxton Road. A sale would be a short-lived boost to North Branford's economy. Preserving the historic trail and holding off on the development of 1599 could have perpetual benefits. Sincerely, Jerry Fishbach, DVM, 56 West Pond Road, North Branford. The other letter is from Susan DeSilver. Dear Mayor Angeloni and council members, I write to express opposition to the proposed sale of 1599 Foxton Road for commercial development. First, please consider how much available commercial space is unused and unoccupied along the Route 80 corridor. Do we really want another business property on such a busy thoroughfare when the appearance and appeal of our town would be further degraded? I saw that the tax assessor estimates the $30,000 in taxes could be gained from this property. I am very unclear about what this actually means. Does that refer to a post-development number? Is it on the annual basis? And is it worth eliminating one of the few green spaces remaining on Foxton Road? This town has had difficulty defining what makes it special. I can tell you that the farms, the open spaces, our sunflowers, thanks to Augers Farm, our trails, our farm stands, our land trust, and our libraries and schools will make this town special because they contribute to quality of life. Quality of life features also increase property values and draw people to our town. If Foxton Road becomes the bland strip mall-laden commercial and industrial wasteland, that will not contribute to our quality of life. I respectfully ask that you keep that property as a resource for the town. Yours, Susan DeSilver. Okay. Is there anyone else that would like to speak?
Chrisanne Vogt, 240 Forest Road. The sale of the town properties began as a way to fund the town center development without burdening the taxpayer. To sell 1599 to raise seed money for it seems short-sighted. In the January 23rd minutes of the Blueprint Committee, the general consensus of what the Blueprint Committee would like to see for the parcel is that it be offered with mixed-use approval, commercial and housing, while preserving access to the trolley line trails. This is all well and good, but isn't it basically what the Town Center Subcommittee wants for the Poco grounds? Well, minus the New England-style town hall, of course. Why not put out an RFP for a design of 1599 instead? Although I know there was a study done in 2015, I think we need to take more time on this particular parcel. What happens when the cost of the infrastructure for the Poco grounds site becomes too prohibitive? We can possibly use 1599 as part of a North Branford Town Center improvement. When I mention a town center to the younger generation, I'm met with amazement. What do we need a town center for? We already have two. One young lady asked, whatever happened to reduce, reuse, and recycle? We should fix up what we already have. Both sides of town have the essentials. Library, post office, banks, churches, package stores, restaurants, vets, groomers, etc. I think the sale of 1599 warrants more thought. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other comments? Would anyone else like to speak? I would just like to clarify for the record, it was stated earlier that we bonded $67 million for the high school, and that is totally incorrect. We authorized to bond approximately $70 million, but that in no way is going to be the final number. We have not had final bonding done on the high school, and it will not be at $67 million. And also, there has been no discussion on the council's part about selling the existing town hall and moving it. So I'm not sure where that information came from, but we have not discussed that at all. So that has not been on the floor either in regards to that. So are there any other comments for the record, for the public record? For the public hearing on the disposition? Okay. So at this time, I would like to close the public hearing at 7:21 p.m. Just to clarify, so the item is on our agenda at the end of our regular meeting. We will be going into executive session to discuss this. We will not be discussing it tonight in public session at all. It is a matter for executive session. And so that will be at the end of the meeting. So there will be no decisions made or publicized tonight as far as what is happening with these properties. This is the first step that we are required to do in disposing of town property. So we held a public hearing. We are keeping these 5 properties together along the route, the road that we go, so that we complete the actions that we have to complete on them. But they could all be disposed at different times. There is no set time, phase, or order of when they will be discussed or disposed of. So just so if anyone was going to sit around and wait, it is an executive session discussion tonight. So, okay, so we are going to continue on with our regular meeting. And we are back to item 9B, Town Manager's Report, Permanent Project Building Committee.
Thank you. For the North Branford Police Department, the building is complete. Minor punch list items remain. The third-party HVAC consultant is engaged. The report has been received and is continuing to be under review by the committee and legal counsel. And we are awaiting an action plan between Centec, which is the third party we hired to conduct the independent review of the HVAC system, and SP&A. North Branford High School exterior glass consultant was engaged to review all glass installed. The review is now complete. There were additional non-conforming panes of glass installed, and the relative action items need to be addressed. North Branford Intermediate School, majority of the base project is complete. There's a winter pause, and siding will commence when the weather permits. Stanley T. Williams Community Center Pavilion, construction is underway and the pavilion is currently going up. Stanley T. Williams renovations, PPVC has reviewed the list of items for needed renovations and are evaluating them. We updated our bond resolution on the roof project relative to this some time ago, and in my conversations with State Representative Vin Candelora, who of course was instrumental in securing our grant funds, he indicated that we will actually have to go back to the bond commission to adjust the language on the associated grant, and we have provided his office the information to facilitate that, and I believe he intends to get it on the next available bond commission agenda. Members of the Permanent Project Building Committee are here this evening to speak to the Edward Smith Library HVAC project, which appears later on your agenda, and they can also answer any questions you might have on any of these projects I just mentioned as well.
Okay, thank you very much. On to citizen statements, petitions, and correspondence. Do we have any citizen statements at this time? Okay. On to resignations and appointments.
Madam Mayor, I just want to point out Bill Savastano's email to us that I know he wanted to be read into the record for citizen statements if we could. If you want me to do it, I'd be happy to do that.
Sure, why don't we do it at the second?
Sure, sounds good.
So that we can just move on here. Okay, resignations and appointments. The first is resignation of Chris Heon, a Democrat from the Blueprint Committee, effective January 16th, 2025. We thank Chris for his service on the Blueprint Committee. His resignation is due to the fact that he was appointed to the Planning and Zoning Committee. So he now is serving on Planning and Zoning. Next is, do I hear a motion for the appointment of Mary Caruso, Democrat, to replace Scott Lanza to the Planning and Zoning as an alternate, term to expire 5/31/27.
So moved. Second.
Either way.
Okay, motion was made by Councilor Diamond, seconded by Deputy Mayor McMillan. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstain? Motion carries. Next is the appointment of Greg Sharp, Democrat, to replace Kasana Lilly to the Solid Hazardous Waste Recycling Committee, term to expire 12/31/27.
So moved.
Second.
Motion was made by Councilor Diamond, seconded by Deputy Mayor McMillan. Discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstain? Motion carries. Next is the appointment of Roberta Bobby Bell to the Housing Authority as a tenant representative, term to expire June 30th, 25. Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Motion was made by Counselor Diamond, seconded by Deputy Mayor McMillan. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstain? Motion carries. Next is the appointment to the Agriculture Commission. This is a commission that we are reconstituting. So a number, 6 members contacted, filled out the form and sent it in to the town manager, and he submitted the names to the council. And we also had one member, one resident contact Councilor Palladino and expressed his interest in it also. So the terms are going to be varying, the expiration dates. So the first one, do I have a motion to appoint Joseph DeFrancesco III, unaffiliated, for a term expiring September 30th, 2025?
Make a motion?
Second?
Second.
A motion was made by Deputy Mayor McMillan, second by Councilor Abelson. Discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstain? Motion carries. The next one is appointment of Stephanie Capasso, Republican, for a term expiring September 30th, 2025.
Make a motion?
Second.
Motion was made by Deputy Mayor McMillan, seconded by Councilor Palladino. Discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstain? Motion carries. The next one is for a term expiring September 30th, 2026. Do I hear a motion to appoint Jenna Gobriel, a Democrat?
Make a motion?
Second.
Motion was made by Deputy Mayor McMillan, seconded by Councilor Diamond. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstain? Motion carries. The next one is to appoint Tyler Rose, a Republican, for a term expiring September 30th, 2027.
Motion. Second?
Motion was made by Councilor Palladino, seconded by Deputy Mayor McMillan. Discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstain? Motion carries. The next one is for a regular member, Cody Duhamel, term expiring September 30th, 2027, a Republican. Do I hear a motion? Okay, motion was made by Councilor Goad, seconded by Councilor Palladino. Discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstain? Motion carries. Alternates. A motion, do I hear a motion to appoint Kara Papa, an independent, for a term expiring September 30th, 2025?
Motion.
Do I have a second?
Second?
Motion was made by Councilor Abelson, seconded by Deputy Mayor McMillan. Discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstain? Motion carries. The last one is for an alternate, to appoint Steve Stone, a Republican, for a term expiring September 30th, 2025.
Motion.
Second.
Motion was made by Councilor Palladino, seconded by Councilor Goad. Discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstain? Motion carries. Thank you. So all of the Ag Commission people, in fact, anyone who was appointed tonight, you will have to get sworn in by the town clerk before any of these terms can start, just as a reminder. Okay, on to unfinished business, discussion and action. First item is proposed North Branford High School Athletic Storage Building. I do not see anyone from the Board of Ed here for that, so we will just continue tabling that. The next is approval of bid specifications for bid 25118 for the North Branford High School storage shed. That will also be tabled. We cannot act on that until the project is actually approved. And the next item on unfinished business is accounting for utilities at 305 Forest Road, which is the new police department. And I believe this is being continued right now until we get into budget season and talk about this a little bit more. So, all right. On to new business, discussion and action. The first is a report from our assessor, Dave Ambrose, on near maps.
You know, I spoke to Councilman Miller in the hallway. He gave me a thumbs up with the near mouse report, so he's on board. So I'm happy to say that. Near maps I identified the two most important things to me discussing near maps. Number one, Connecticut General Statute 1243 is commonly referred to as the 3-month rule among assessors. 3-month rule is equipment is assessed in the town in which is located for 3 months or more during the ground list year. And the large company that you see on your handout that has a $40-something increase in taxes. Well, I was able to identify that the equipment was there for 3 months or more during the year. The taxpayer claimed that the equipment was not on site, but I was able to prove that it was on site, and he agreed, with very little discussion, and he's not appealing the assessment. The second example is a permit for an in-ground pool. You can see that within a 6-month period of time, the pool was installed, and I didn't need to go out there to look at the property. I could see it right on the map. And also, if there's any questions about the size or length of the pool, Near Maps has all the tools necessary to measure right online. And to date, Near Maps has paid for itself 14 times over. Any questions about Near Maps?
Nope. So what did near maps cost us? $7,500?
About $7,000 something.
Okay.
So far we I think we realized what increase or additional revenue, $100,000 I think it was in that area.
Okay. All right. 8,500. And that's a ongoing annual subscription, correct?
Yes.
Next fiscal year?
The next year is going to be 85.
Okay. And it's used by both the assessor's office and
We both use it.
the town planner, correct?
Yeah. Almost on
Oh,
the day.
and the town engineer also?
We all use it.
Okay, great.
It's split between both the departments.
Yeah, I don't use it as an eye in the sky kind of thing. I just use the verified data basically.
Okay. All right. Okay. So that's the report on near maps. Okay. The one item we've all been anxiously waiting here. Oh, do you have a question?
Yeah,
on
on
near
near maps. So I'm looking at the two photos, Dave. So one has no pool, then there's a pool at the end of the year or in the fall. But then in the comments above, it says the permit was filed in May. So before October came.
It was filed in May of 24.
Right.
So in March of 24, there was nothing there.
Right.
And as of 10/1/24, it was there on the assessment date. I was able to add it to the ground list.
Right, but I guess my question is, if you didn't have near maps, the permit was pulled, so you wouldn't have known that?
No.
Is that because the departments don't communicate?
Oh, no, we do it very well.
Oh, no,
very
I'm just
yeah.
asking. I'm not arguing. I'm
The
just
department's
trying to-
great. They're great. Yeah, they're cooperative, very cooperative. I just would have to go out there and look at the property physically
Okay,
to see
yeah.
if it's there.
Yeah.
With this, I can just click on their maps and see that it's installed.
Okay. All right.
That's the benefit, really.
So you gotta get like a camo pool cover?
Yeah.
Okay. My Republican's coming out right now. Yeah.
Good idea.
See that?
Yeah. So, Dave, so I was just gonna follow up with this. So if the permit was pulled in May of 24,
May of 24?
May of 24, the pool was finished in let's say-
October of 24.
Right. So who goes out to inspect?
Well, the building inspector goes out there to make sure everything is
Right. So wouldn't he come back and
safe.
sit there and tell you, hey, the pool's finished?
He would do that normally. I asked him for those kind of things, those kind of favors, and he did, up until near maps. Now I don't need to use him
So
anymore.
he doesn't have to because you use near maps?
Right.
Thank you. Okay.
Well, no, I mean, I get it, but I mean, just using the term, do me a favor, doesn't sit well, but it's not really a favor, it's just a process, yeah.
So if you don't need to both go out there to property, it's a waste of time, basically.
Okay.
Well, he talks about the inspected pool, doesn't he?
He does, but Dave does.
He does.
You don't.
So I would ask him, I would say, whoever was here at the time, is the pool in?
Right.
Give me a trip, and they would say yes or no. Did yes, I added the grant list, no, I wait till the following year.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, on to item B, Grand List 2024.
The actual grant list increased by over $500 million. After factoring exemptions, it increased by just under $500 million. And almost 100% of the increase, obviously, is due to revaluation. Personal property decreased by almost $4 million due to the combination of a lack of organic growth and a decrease in property audits because of the reval time constraints. I plan on a full court press next year to actually have some PP growth next year. And like always, my focus is on non-residents who have assets here, opposed to local businesses. Non-residents. I gave you some examples, but I think you probably know who they are.
So personal property, just to clarify for the public, is it's not your real estate, it's not your motor vehicle, it's generally associated with businesses.
It's business personal property.
Yeah.
Everything that's not tied down, attached to the physical real estate. Conduits, furniture, fixtures, computers, so on and so forth. Motor vehicles decreased by $25 million due to Senate Bill 501. The bill changed the valuation methodology from average retail to the cost approach. So we're using the MSRP in a defined depreciation schedule, and that is how we value motor vehicles this year. So that's why we have such a big decrease. Let's see. PA 2446 allows the town to exempt the home assessments for veterans who are permanently and totally disabled. I think it has been a long time coming. I'm very happy with that. The Water Authority pilot has not changed. There are 10 active assessment deferrals. There are 2 expired deferrals and 1 right now that's still in the construction phase. Speaking of permits, I looked at the permits for the next 6 months, and they're not very promising. I think we have right now only 3 new houses that are on the books right now, so it looks like a down year so far, but we'll see what happens. I added an item of sales trending. Now that reval's over and I have 4.5 months worth of sales to review, I did a sales ratio test to see where we are, where the values are going. And so I looked at all the properties that sold after reval, and I divided the reval assessment by the current sale price. And so at the time of reval, everything is assessed at 70% of the market value. Now, if I divide the assessments by the current sale prices, the ratio is down to 65%. So the market is still robust. I also I calculated a weighted assessment sales to ratio test. The weighted ratio test is the sum of all assessments divided by the sum of all the sale prices. And that the weighted ratio for that is 69.2%, which is, I think it's a better indicator. The market is still robust, but it's not really increasing at the same rate we saw over the last year. And that's it for the ground list report. Got any questions?
I have one, Dave.
Sure.
some of us have talked about this, but going into budget season, can you do the calculation for us and let us know what the reduction would be in mill rate?
I have that right in front of you right now.
Is it where?
This is what he just handed out to us.
Oh.
Right. In fact, I remember you asking that at our last meeting, Counselor, so I asked him to.
So he has it from 30 mils down to 23 mils. What?
Yeah, the first page, just ignore the rest of the spreadsheet. Just look at the first two columns, the mill rates and the overall tax change. So the median tax increase at 30 mils would be $1,780, and the median tax change at 23 mils would be a savings for the taxpayer of $298. So it looks like around 24 mils, there'll be no change in taxes.
What are you looking at, Dave? Because all I see is a bunch of numbers on a page.
It goes downward. Slides down.
Here's the tax change for 30 mils from last year, and here's the tax change at 23 mils. So this is a decrease by 1780. This is a decrease of 23 mils.
Dave, do me a favor, just for the public. People don't. We throw in the term mills all the time. I don't think people understand what it means. Can you just give a general description of it?
Yeah,
a lot of people.
last year was 35.93. So people paying taxes on $35.93 per $1,000 of assessed value. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Hey, Dave, so where the lines intersect, that's the...
Sweet spot.
On the second page?
Yes, yeah.
Okay, if you jump to that page, this is a very interesting report. I factored in motor vehicles also. So property A, the tax increase at 30 mils would be almost $2,200, and the motor vehicle savings, because of the reduced mill rate, would be $569. The net change for that property, including if you factor in motor vehicles, is only $1,650. And it looks like if you look at the real estate only, there still will be a slight increase in the real estate taxes at 23 mils. But if you factor in motor vehicle, it looks like there's no tax change at 25 mils. So the motor vehicles are an important dynamic to this whole thing. And you can see where the lines intersect on the chart.
So what's our break even, Dave?
For these two people, it'll be around 25 mils.
But you also have to understand that not everyone's property increased at the same percentage rate. So you could have someone whose assessment went up 10%, and you could have someone whose assessment went up 60% on real estate. So it's going to have, even though it's the same mill rate, it's going to have a different effect on those people. So, you're going to have some people that are happy and some people that aren't so happy.
I don't think it's a coincidence that if you look at the mills of 24 mills, there's no tax increase. And if you look at the next column over, 50% of the people who don't have a tax increase at 24 mills. And 50% is the actual increase in the grand list for residential property. So that can't be a coincidence.
So on the first page, you're saying.
Right.
So the percentage in that second column there's the overall tax change, and then the next one is increase. That percentage is the number of people that are in that category.
So half the people would have no change.
Okay.
At 24 mils, and it's a coincidence, not a coincidence, that the average increase in assessed value for residential property is 50%. So it kind of makes sense. So property A, there's no increase at 25 mils, and in property B, it looks like there's no increase around 26 mils.
So at this point in time, how many hearings do you have?
Take a guess.
I don't know.
30.
30, that's it?
Well, we have tomorrow also, so we have to get through tomorrow first.
Okay,
I would-
so
I
it's
would guess-
Thursday's the due date.
Yeah, maybe 40, and that's pretty good. I was anticipating around 200.
Okay,
Yeah, I don't think any commercial properties have appealed yet. If so, that'll be tomorrow.
so right now, the grand list, the total increase is at $488 million.
Right, after exemptions, that's taxable.
Right,
Yeah.
so that's before exemptions.
That's after exemptions.
488, according
Right,
to,
with-
488 is before, and 476 includes motor vehicle and personal property. It's on page 60 of our packet.
Let me see. Correct. So 488 is the gross, you are correct.
Right.
And 476 is the net taxable grant.
So that could possibly change yet after the hearings, but, or not.
Not enough to move the needle at all, not enough to make it do any damage.
Okay, all right,
Really, there's minimal at best.
all right,
Very, very minor exposure.
okay. Okay, does anyone else have any questions in regards to the grand list? And there's a lot of information in our packet that the assessor has provided us, which is great, in all of the categories.
Thank you. Well,
So that is great. And yes, and it breaks down also the huge change in the motor vehicle, which Dave had talked about earlier, why that changed so much. So. Okay. No other questions. We will move on to the next item, which is homeowners benefit adjustment.
yeah, we have a compression issue once again with the homeowners. The current town limit for unmarried homeowner would be is $50,000. The state limit now is
Okay. Did you guys have a question with Dave? He's explaining.
No, I'm sorry, Dave.
That's okay.
Talk about something else.
So the homeowners, so the state limits are now are just getting closer to our.
Yeah, so.
So again, there's a compression issue. So the state unmarried income limit is only $5,000 less than our limits now. And our married homeowner limit is $61,000, and the state limit is only $6,000 lesser than that. So I propose to increase our income limits by $10,000 respectively for unmarried and married.
Okay.
I mean, think about it. If you're a married couple and you're both getting Social Security, it's $25,000 a piece. That's $50,000 right there. So it leaves very little room for any other income. They'll pay you over the top. They'll pay you over.
Yeah.
And I also suggest, respectively, if we should increase our limits proportionally with the state increase every year.
So whatever the state does.
We mimic what they do every year, right?
So that we don't get into the compression issue?
Right, correct.
Okay. So, Anthony, do you want us to handle this now or during budget?
We can incorporate it at budget time.
One other thing, I think the cost to us would be between $10,000 and $15,000 annually.
To increase to these
Right.
to this level? Okay. And I believe currently we have $125,000 in our budget. This year's budget was $125,000.
I think that sounds about right. I'm not sure. I mean, I can't remember that number for some reason. 125 rings a bell.
I think that's what I saw earlier.
Could be wrong, but
Okay. Well, we'll get to it at
I
budget
thought we
time.
raised it from 100,000 to
Right.
20. Yeah, we did.
Yeah. Okay. All right, so we'll, does anyone have any discussion while Dave is here in regards to this? Any questions?
On anything?
No, thank you for what you do.
Thank you, sir.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, Bruce.
125.
Okay.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
Dave, I just have one question.
Sure.
So on the motor vehicle tax, when if the mill rate gets adjusted, does that move or does that stay the same all the time?
Anything under 32.46 mils, Anthony, is that?
Yeah, that's where we are now.
Right, so the cap for motor vehicles is 32.46. So if the mill rate moves under that amount, then that's what we use for the motor vehicle taxes.
Rose.
Historically, you go back many years, we counted, we had one mill rate for the town.
Yeah.
And then when the number went above 32.46, we had to split it up and say, okay, this is what we're going to derive from motor vehicle taxes, and the rest will be covered by real estate and personal property. This year, because it's 99% likely we're going to go below 32.46, we're going to make it into one mill rate again.
Oh, okay, okay, thank you.
I think we're always below that cap until 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
The motor vehicle issue is a big issue statewide that GFOA isn't getting involved with the legislature, because not only did they change the methodology, they changed the depreciation schedule that you have to use for the motor vehicles, and it really is penalizing the towns. As you can see, $25 million of assessed value, impacts us pretty significantly. So they're trying to go back to the legislature and say, you guys keep whittling down our revenue sources. I mean, years ago they took away the manufacturing exemption. We had that money forever. Maybe 6-7 years ago that went away. Homeowners policy. They just keep nickel and diming and taking less and less, giving less and less to the towns. And it forces you guys to bring the mill rate up, which obviously is not a popular decision,
Right.
but the state just slowly but surely is whittling away what they give the towns.
Okay.
I mean, I think with state-owned property, at one point, I think the cap for the state is 45%. Now it's down like 20%. You get reimbursed on the state-owned property.
It's real money.
Okay, any other questions in regards to this? Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Dave. Okay, moving on to the next item. Agreement between the North Branford Board of Education and the North Branford School Administration Association, their contract from 7/1/25 to 6/30/28. So according to state statute, the Board of Ed, once they negotiate, the two contracts they need to send to the council are administrators and teachers. Marie Diamond was our representative from the town council and sat in on negotiations for the administrators contract, which they had completed late in the fall. And they recently sent us the contract, which the town clerk has registered. And there is also a synopsis that the board gave as to what the major increases were in their contract. If we take no action, it will automatically go into place 30 days from the date that we received it, which was in January. And so if we reject it, then that means it goes to arbitration. And based on what I read in here and saw, I don't think it should go to arbitration. It would cost us far more than what is
And we'd lose.
what is listed here. So instead of just waiting the 30 days, is there someone that would like to make a motion to accept the administrator's contract?
I'll make a motion to accept the administrator's contract as stipulated.
Second. Okay, the motion has been made by Deputy Mayor McMillan, seconded by Councilor Diamond. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstain? Motion carries. Okay. Next item is recommendation from the Permanent Project Building Committee on the Edward Smith Library HVAC. And I believe we have some people here from the building committee that would like to tell us what they have, why they have chosen the option they did
So I'll
for the
lead off.
recommendation.
Al Rose, 40 Valley Road. Mike asked me to come here and defend our decision. So what we did is, I'll tell you what we did and why we did it. So we picked the one that was the middle of the road, like 1.8 million, and plus or minus. We did that because there was a time limit on applying for grants. So we felt that, let's go for this. This is one of the best ways to fix it. However, if we don't get the grant money, that's where Lou comes in. That's what Lou does for a living.
We can put a system in similar to what's there for probably less than 700,000.
So there were 4 options that the engineer gave. The first option being the cheapest, which I believe was somewhere close to $500,000.
Yeah, his numbers looked a little light though.
And what was that, repairing the system that's
No,
there?
that was actually replacing the system with a similar system. New system, brand new system, brand new pipe.
The system you were talking about
Just
700K.
replacing it with a variable refrigerant system of the same type of system.
Okay.
Then the second one was the hybrid system, which we didn't really have enough information on that. They haven't been out there long enough to even, so I wouldn't even risk that being like, the guinea pig of the new system. And we were kind of leaning towards the one that was in the middle, which would be, which we were doing with the new DOAs. Because if you went to the actual highest budgeted system, you're talking about new electrical, bringing, additional power in. It was a lot of disruption to the library, so.
Okay. So depending on where the steep grant, if we get the steep grant or not, or the amount of the steep grant on there, you will adjust the.
According to
Yeah.
what you guys get.
We can fine tune a budget.
I mean, Lou is, and I don't want to speak for Lou, but he puts these systems in now all the time in brand new schools and other facilities.
The same system we have.
The one we have right now. And I'm assuming, and Lou can answer better than anybody, the technology 17 years ago to today, I'm sure is much different. So, and that's that, I think we all agreed that the numbers were probably light. So it might be a $600,000 or $700,000 system, or which is exactly what we have now.
And the installation is important. If it
Right.
needs to be installed properly.
And maintained.
How long would something like that take, and how long would the library be offline?
I think we were talking about they would actually move them out of there.
Yeah.
Do what?
Temporarily. They would move them out of there temporarily while the work was being done.
Yeah, makes sense.
I don't know.
I mean, I would think maybe a couple of months of construction, maybe.
Okay.
I don't know when you guys are going to know about the steep grant.
It depends. Sometimes they've rendered the decision in the summer. Sometimes they've done it in the fall. But, we could talk to Representative Candelora, see if there's a way to expedite that.
Are you going to be, is it all hinged on the steep grant, or are you?
No, we know we have to fix it.
Right.
We know we have to fix it, and we put a placeholder in our CIP, our capital improvement plan, so that we could move forward with it. At the time that we talked about it, we didn't know about the steep grant. The steep grant came out afterwards.
So you can move forward even while you're waiting for the steep grant.
See, I think if you were gonna move forward,
Well,
you'd go with replacing the system that's there.
Right. That's right.
I mean, you're gonna get
Another,
if you only got another 15 years, we could replace it 3 times for
For what you're gonna.
the next thing. So it's all about the grant money if you're on the wait, but we really have to do it,
Yeah.
so it's ready for next winter.
right. Because they got portable
Does it
heaters
cool?
all over.
Yeah, heating.
So-
Heating.
So does it cool now or it doesn't cool now?
I think they have problems.
Yeah, I think the cooling's an issue. Isn't Franny,
Franny,
the cooling
does it
issue
cool?
over there too?
Yes. It's more on the upstairs.
Upstairs, right. But they got portable heaters all over this place.
So if we replace what's there, it's around 5 to 700,000, right? Versus going to 1.8 million?
And hoping to get a
What's,
grant for
what's,
$1 million.
what, why would we do that if we could fix it for 500,000 to 700,000? What's the
The
gain,
longevity
I
of
guess?
the system.
What's
We got
that?
17
The
years
longevity
out
of
the
the
one
system.
now.
Longevity, which means,
You, like Dave just said, you could actually put the system in 3 times to get the longevity you're gonna get out of the other system. So it may be the best for us just to go with the system that's there.
So.
Not that there's anything wrong with the system. I put them in all the time. It's just that I think Ken had some issues with it. And I think with the technology now, though, I think it's something that if it's installed properly with the technology now, and the improvements and the maintenance that the efficiencies they have now, I just think that it could be the system could be fine.
So the 1.8, if I hear that, is like a 45-year, and the 750,000 or 700,000 is about 15 years, so 3 times over is the
We got
45.
17 out of this last one, it's probably 15 to
20 years.
20 years, on the outside 20. And again, it's all about, and Lou will tell you, and something we need to all kind of talk about with all the new projects that we've done about maintenance programs. I think you guys heard about us talking about it, I think it's gonna be critical.
So,
right
I
now-
actually think you guys should send to the building committee for us to look at, service contracts.
Maintenance contracts.
For all these new modern, systems.
everything's
It's not fair
much
to
more
think that-
technical
They're
now.
spending millions on systems.
You're
that
dealing with computers
are not
now.
maintained.
Can I ask a question? Presently, right now, in the library, what's the shelf life of what's happening there now? Is
It's
it,
not working now.
The first
Place
floor is
expired.
not.
First floor.
it's expired?
Yeah.
Well, the children's library downstairs, I believe, works.
Yes.
Yes.
Right.
And what's the shelf life of that one? Do you know?
It's,
What,
It's
to
day
keep
to
that
day?
one on and change the other system?
No,
They have-
I'm just saying the shelf life of what's there now. Is-
17 years
Yeah,
you got out of that, it's done.
So what's working presently?
Well, they
Do
have a
you
whole
have
bunch
any
of
idea,
stuff
like, how much
plugged in
longer
at
it's
every
gonna last?
corner.
It's working, but it's not that efficient. And the upstairs is, there's probably a dozen, I
I'm
don't
just
know,
trying
half
to
a
find out
dozen
like how
portable heaters.
quickly we have to go and do this.
Well-
Like, is it immediately right now?
Well, they have portable heaters.
I know that.
So the 5 to 7, the first, the lesser of the 2 that we're talking about, is that for the whole building?
Yes.
Correct.
Okay, so it's
Right.
for upstairs,
There's
There's
downstairs.
two heat pumps,
Right.
there's 2 heat
Right.
pumps that control approximately 10 units per floor.
Guys, I have one question. I remember hearing that replacing this system was kind of gonna be a nightmare because of the way it was installed and it's in the walls and everything else like that.
In the ceilings.
If you do the lesser of 2 evils, the $700,000 one, are we going to still have that same problem 15 years from now? And if we do the 1.8, will it be completely reconstructed so that we can access the system easier in the future?
Well,
You're still gonna have it's a tight space.
we don't know how much room, we assume we have in that library, certain areas of the library that we have more ceiling space to be able to either, A, put units or put what we have. But there's gonna be, even if we do the 1.8, we're gonna have exposed areas of ductwork.
Yeah. You're gonna have to box in.
We're gonna have to do,
But will that system be at all easier to work on than the cheaper version? Or is it kind of
Well, you have-
6, 1/2 dozen?
If we went with a water furnace style system, you're dealing with water, which they don't have now. All your refrigerants outside, not inside. Might be easier for them to service down the road. But if the unit's installed properly, though, it should last.
Well, I'm just talking,
Even
we're
the one
talking
that's
about
there.
maintenance contracts and stuff too, so I want to make sure that they're easily
Yeah.
serviceable and easy to get to. We don't want to create the same issue and just, spend a bunch of money and then have, down the road, have the same thing, you know what I mean, so.
So is the replacement, as is the shelf life still 15 to 17 years?
15 to 20.
20 years.
15 to 20 years?
It's so surprising to hear that. I mean, I understand like house furnaces or that, but you would think a municipal system would get more usability than 15, 20. You'd want to at least see 25, 30. Is there a product out there
But
that does
but the
that?
system now, right, it's running 24/7, whether it's heat or AC.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, the benefits of those systems too is you can run heating and cooling at the same
at the
time.
same time.
It's just a clock
So
that keeps
if
on
it
going.
was serviced on a regular maintenance, you think you
Yeah,
get
they should
more
be
than-
checked.
It should be checked.
You should get 20 to, would you get
Yeah.
20 to 25
Yeah.
years?
I mean, I would say you're gonna get better than what we have today.
Yeah, sure you can, yeah.
It's all about maintenance, and I think it's gonna be critical for us for all the new projects in schools, PDs,
Something we can't avoid.
that we have to do.
Yeah, you can't.
You know, the technology is so advanced, I mean, Lou will tell you, it's insane.
You need people that are specialists.
Like I said, I'm
Yeah.
doing brand new schools with that same system, you know, more
Okay.
modern system.
Franny wants to weigh in.
No, I heard the service, I just want to make it clear. You can't buy parts for a service.
No,
you can't buy parts.
So it's not about we didn't service it,
No, right.
it's been
No,
serviced.
no,
But-
that's not what I'm saying.
But
I'm
the other,
saying
the other,
if we
the
go
other
to-
thing in the
if we-
room is,
if we
I
go
don't
to
know,
the
you know,
new-
I don't, the piping all has to get changed out too, correct?
You would have to
Yes.
pull
So you're talking about, you're gonna be ripping walls out and ceilings out also with this.
Yeah.
You gotta get the pipes that are in there out, because you use,
If we change.
if.
No,
well,
no,
if-
even
if-
with
even
what
the
we're
same
doing now,
system,
we
even
have
the
to-
replacement,
we have to
because there's
replace
all
the
different
lines.
gases too, so it's not just we're gonna be putting, units up in the ceiling.
Yeah, you got 17 years out of that, and
We're not knocking.
No, I'm just
Right.
saying, I wanna make it
Yeah,
clear.
but you
Because
said-
council
How
don't
much
get-
is the building
when you
worth?
say
Building a
they
house
get service, they got service.
no, they got service, you just can't get parts anymore for those units though.
You need to have a service contract with guys that are doing it every day.
Yeah, half the reason, and they have service it, but the problem today is they can't get parts.
Right,
Franny and Kenny will tell you, there's no longer available, they're not manufacturing it.
right.
Or there's none left in the country.
So to cut to the chase, you guys are basically saying the $700,000 system is the way we should be going, right?
Well, we put that 1 point in as a placeholder if you got the grant, and we would
But
vary
if you
from
did
there.
like Mike said, if you do the 700, you still apply for the grant. It
Right.
goes up to $1 million. So
Right, because if it's 1.8, and even if we got $1 million, the max, we
Right.
still have $800,000 we have to come up with on
Correct.
there.
Correct.
And the whole system is $700,000.
System and then
Yeah, do some budgeting.
Right.
Lou looked at this.
Yeah, but you get
since
twice
we
the
made our
lifespan out of
decision,
it though,
because
right?
we had just
Right.
gotten this
Maybe.
report. So
They said
now,
30.
I mean, they're guiding us the other way.
better
They're
handle
they're
on
telling
it.
us it's
Why
$700
don't you,
system.
why don't you explain to
That's
us
the way they wanna
a little
go.
bit about this other system that you may be.
This one of the style of the systems I was talking to Kenny about. It's a newer system where the unit actually goes, it's a heat pump, it goes outside the building, and you run water in instead of having refrigerant in. But, I mean, then you would be talking piping, you got water piping in the building instead of having refrigeration. You can actually get them with a same type of cassette unit, so you can minimize the ductwork. But you're still, even like Fran said, you're still opening up areas to run piping, you're opening ceilings, with
But we have
any
to
of
rip
the
the old system out.
You're gonna do that with any system, and that should all fall under,
I think we were concerned about just for you guys as a timing to get.
Yeah, I mean,
the
I like to
town
put
manager number.
it'd be nice to put some actual hard budget numbers together. But if we could turn around, that's the reason why we decided to go, if you put the 1.8 in as a placeholder, if you have to do that for the grant.
Right.
And we're using the FLN's report for that option
Which-
as the budget for the application that's due Thursday.
If we were able to get the grant, does that change your recommendation as to which system?
If you were to get the 1.8,
Well, they'd only get a.
We only get $1 million.
You got $1 million, they still got
Up to $1 million.
Right, so we should
Right.
go with the 700,000?
So,
It's a no-brainer.
again, if
I mean, I
you would
think
be
if it-
applying for the million.
It's the same cost.
I think it put the, I mean, I probably put the same
They
system.
definitely were guiding us that way. We should take the recommendation, and that's what we want to go with,
I think
right?
we'd be leaning towards doing
The
the
first
first back at it with the same system, only updated.
Okay.
And it may be 600, 700,000, we don't have it. I think that number was, I think we all agreed that those numbers were.
We're light.
Yeah, his numbers were late. That's
So
why
the
he was
700,000
he was,
Even the
light number.
1.8 could be.
yeah, he was like 520 something, and I'm
Right.
saying 7, so I think he was late.
You knew a guy.
So the 1.8 might be light also.
2,
Could be.
could be. Yeah, so that's why we said, we only kind of gave you a number
Right,
just so you can go for the grant. And
right.
again, I think
We
with the
understand.
technology today, and Lou is comfortable with those systems, he puts them in, and, if you get the money, we can, and again, I think we gotta crunch some numbers again anyways.
Okay.
Okay.
Does anyone else have any questions regarding this?
Thank you, guys.
You guys want an update on the high school at all?
Sure, real quick.
So basically, we're down to about 75 items, of punch list items. Some of it's related to spring items for outside issues. The glazing, we have now about 151 panels of windows that we're up to right now for our third-party consultant.
That will have to be replaced this summer?
Changed in the summer again. Gilbane is working with Rusty from QA&M, and they're going through that. The whiteboards, Gilbane is dealing with that, and they'll have to be addressed and resolved in the summer. And then the other thing is, and I mean, we're all kind of aware about it. We have to, and I'm going to meet Franny tomorrow, we got to look at the north lot, the fence we got to replace. I think that's something that we should do here on our own if we have funds left, instead of going through Gilbane and paying him absorbent amounts of money, and addressing maybe the north parking lot issues, so for paving. A couple other items outside are some sidewalk issues. That outside kind of amphitheater, there's a couple of questions that we have to deal with on that.
And also then Fran, you know, he told me after one of the snowstorms, where those guys cut the spikes off that were holding the trailers down.
Yeah.
They didn't cut them short.
They didn't cut them short enough.
Right. Plows.
So we got, and you know, I'll get with Franny tomorrow
And
and
they
meet him
should
over
pull
there.
them out.
Well, I think Gilbane has to be responsible for some of this. We don't know where that's going to go, but certainly, you know, we'll address that as well.
Okay.
And the PD issues, we're moving forward. Just waiting on SBA.
Okay, great.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so now we're going to go to the item that was added on the agenda.
So, Madam Mayor, I would ask that
wait.
if you could
Yes, there's a motion on this.
do the motion on 13E, and then that'll dovetail right into the thing you've added.
So on page 91 of our packet is a suggested motion. Yes.
All right, so motion that the North Branford Town Council hereby adopts the Permanent Project Building Committee's recommendation of in-kind replacement and dedicated outdoor air system, DOAS, for the HVAC system at the Edward Smith Library.
Second.
The motion was made by Deputy Mayor McMillan, seconded by Councilor Goat. Any further discussion? All
This
in,
is the one that's they're recommending, yes?
Yes.
Correct.
yes.
Which is,
Option 1. It's option C from the FL Lens report.
700,000.
No.
No.
Ballpark, whatever.
1.8.
1.8, and then we can scale.
And then we go from there. right?
Yeah. For the purposes of getting the grant. And they're gonna come back with real numbers. They don't know those numbers to be accurate. So they're going to come back with the real numbers.
So we can apply for the grant.
We wanna apply for the grant, make sure the grant's being in motion.
I second my motion on basis that we were going with the lake, the in-kind replacement. That's not the $1.8 million one.
This is just to apply for the grant, yes? This is strictly for applying for the
This is
grant.
the Permanent Project Building Committee voted to recommend this to you. That's what they've recommended is the 1.8 million solution. The need for us to have done this, for them to have reported this out on February 10th, as we had mentioned last time, was because we have a deadline of applying for the steep grant of the 20th, which is this Thursday. So it's kind of threading the needle here. So that's why it's important that we have this as the basis for the budget that we're putting in, because it takes time. We've been, putting together the application. And I wanted that lead time because actually we started incorporating this into the steep grant after a Permanent Project Building Committee made the recommendation, before you're formally approving it tonight. We wouldn't have had time otherwise.
It's easier to scale
It's
back
Thursday.
than to scale up.
Strictly for the grant.
right, so I just want to make it clear. I mean, I'm not voting for 1.8 million.
Well, that's
I mean,
what-
this is a bit confusing.
That's where I'm confused too, because I thought we kind of left, like, we don't want the 1.8.
No, it's, all right.
We don't want the funds.
They're not 100% sure as to what.
They're
Just to be
doing
clear, though,
They're
if
doing
you-
the higher number as a fail-safe. They've no intention of.
If you,
Okay.
if you, if you endorse this as the 1.85, we apply for the steep grant. We're gonna apply for the million. Say we don't get it at all, or we get less,
We could scale back.
you know, you can adjust fire on that. But, so you're not committing the town to 1.8 million by making this vote, whether we get the steep grant or not.
Okay, thank you.
The aim is to get
Yeah.
the million
All right.
Yeah.
as part of it.
Thanks, Mike.
Huh. I just want to make sure I'm making my statement.
Yes.
Because I'm not, you know. Okay.
Okay.
All right, so.
This is the permanent project recommended the $1.8 million option out of the options. And that's what this motion is covering right now, so that we can complete the grant, the steep grant application and submit it. And the actual system that we replace it with will be determined on whether we get the steep grant or how much we get from it. And we still have time to change which option we go with at that point in time.
Okay.
Got it.
Tommy,
Okay.
we're starting to sweat.
Hold on.
Okay, so,
And pan us some CBD.
all right, so are we ready to vote? Everyone, okay.
Yes.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain? Motion carries. Now we are on to our item that we added to the agenda, which is the steep grant application.
I'd like to make a motion that the town council of the town of North Branford adopt a resolution authorizing town manager Michael P. Downs to apply for and execute any and all documents related to the 2025 steep grant.
Second.
Motion has been made by Councilor Palladino, seconded by Deputy Mayor McMillan. Discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstain? Motion carries. Okay. Next item on the agenda is review and appointment of council liaisons. So this was, let me just get the, what page? This is 90. Okay, so these are our current, whether it's a board or commission, some are appointments, those are at the top. And then anything with the star, starting with the Board of Ed down, are just liaisons to boards and commissions. I know people's work schedules have changed, and that's why I just put this in here. If anyone would like to go on, come off of a commission or go on a different one, just let me know on there. Liaisons are appointed by the mayor. The ones on the top, pension, blueprint, public safety, and finance, are voted on by the council. So if anyone, I know Councilor Abelson has told me that he would like to be a member, or a liaison also to Fire Commission. We have 2 to Police Commission. I am not opposed to having 2 to Fire Commission also, so I will appoint Councilor Abelson to Fire Commission.
He's the lead.
Very excited.
Anyone else want to change or anything? Okay, so if you do, you can notify me later. We can always come back to this, but it was just for informational purposes. Okay, on to item G, approval of RFP number 926013, specifications on financial advisors. So this is bid specs. We discussed this at our last meeting in regards to going out to bid for financial advisor. It's been decades since we've done this, and as part of our fiduciary responsibility, I think this is long overdue.
Is there a motion for that?
You just have to.
Yeah, so I'll make that motion. I think it's very important that we do this every 7 to 10 at minimum, 5 to 10 minutes.
Okay, so the motion to approve RFP 926013, do I have a second?
Second.
Motion has been made by Deputy Mayor McMillan, second by Councilor Abelson. Discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstain? Motion carries. Next one is approval of RFP 926014, specifications on bond consultant.
That should be bond counsel.
Council, yeah.
Oh,
And I
Okay.
will also make that motion, approve RFP 926014, specification of bond counsel.
okay. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion was made by Deputy Mayor McMillan, seconded by Councilor Palicia. Any discussion
Yeah, what's the difference?
between bond counsel and
Advisor.
financial advisor?
Well, it says bond advisor.
Yeah, ignore that. It's supposed to be bond counsel. The bond counsel is our attorney that prepares the resolutions that you guys act on. He has to bless everything that goes out. Nothing is done without their approval. All the sign-offs have to be done per SEC regulations by your bond counsel. The financial advisor gets you to that point. He prepares the documents, he meets with us, he brings us to market. We have the ratings meetings with S&P or Moody's. He's here when we open up the bond results, and then he prepares the documents that are the closing documents with the successful bidder and such. He's more of the front end, and the bond counsel, once the bids are opened up, he blesses it, and that's basically their two parts of life.
Okay, so is the financial advisor the same as the bond advisor?
Yeah, it's just they worded their.
I'm just,
Yeah.
I want to make sure I'm clear.
Well, but
The 6013 is your financial advisor. You want to call it bond advisor, you can call it either one. 6014 is your bond counsel. That's a lawyer.
So is that,
so they're two
That's
different
not- no,
things.
Brian
No,
is
yeah,
Brian.
I realize they're two different
okay.
things, but
So it's a separate attorney.
Anthony used
Yeah.
a different title. He used
Yeah.
financial advisor, and this says bond advisor. I was just asking, is that the same?
It's just, they should have been uniform.
Okay.
Yeah. 6013 is one person, and 6014 is your bond counsel. It's an attorney. It's not, Brian is our general counsel.
Yeah.
And then the bond counsel specializes in
Okay.
finance.
Thank you.
And if you look at the document itself, the request for proposal for bond advisor, which is the same as your financial advisor for 926013, it's, the advisor will support the town's finance department and bond counsel being the attorney, in structuring and implementing sales of bonds and associated responsibilities with prior bond sales. So it's specific to bonds, is what you're doing.
could that be somebody in your office also?
Clearly not the bond advisor or the financial advisor, but not bond counsel. We do not do bond counsel work. No. There's only a few firms in the state that do that.
Okay. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstain? Motion carries. Next is approval of RFP 925015, specifications for engineering
Make
services.
that motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion was made by Deputy Mayor McMillan, second by Councilor Palladino. So these engineering services are for Twin Lakes Road, is that what that is?
That's correct.
For? Okay. Which we approved at a previous meeting, so this is moving the project forward then? Okay. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstained? Motion carries. Next is approval of bid 25119, specifications, Public Works Addition Expansion.
Make that motion.
Do I have a second? Second. Motion was made by Deputy Mayor McMillan, seconded by Councilor Palladino. Any discussion? Okay, so is this putting the project out to bid? That's what this is doing? Are there ad alternates in this bid spec for work that you may do, the Public Works may do, or are you bidding the whole thing?
At the end, we could break it out.
You can take that out of there.
We have a few more changes to make, but
Okay.
we're doing it as a pack, just in case we can't do it. Then we don't get a thing with a cost out. So we're gonna be able to extract stuff out.
Okay, so take it you reviewed all of this with Mike Fumiati, the purchasing
Oh,
agent, and putting this together, so you're good with it?
Yep.
Okay. Okay,
It's only going to be broken down, it's not going to be a lump sum number.
okay. Okay. So the motion was made and seconded. Any other discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstain? Motion carries. Next is approval of pension consultant RFP.
You're specific, I'll read it.
Page 179.
This is based on the recommendation from pension.
Correct.
All right. Motion be it hereby resolved, the North Branford Town Council, based on the favorable review of the pension committee, approves the attached RFP for retirement plan investment consultant services for publication.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Motion was made by Deputy Mayor McMillan, second by Councilor Palladino. So this was discussed at pension and approved at our last pension committee meeting. So it's just moving forward to the council so that we can go out. This was based on a recommendation from the town attorney last summer because the investment company that currently does it was sold. And so that kind of triggers, and we pay more than $10,000 in fees. So just abiding by the bond things. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstain? Motion carries. Next item is proposed postcards for budget referendum.
I'm against this. I think it's a
Well,
waste of money.
well, so let's hear what
Sure.
the town manager has to say.
So I put this on essentially for discussion. This was an item that was going to go before finance, but we didn't meet. But essentially, what I'd like to do is, of course, we're doing more than we have ever done in terms of trying to get the word out when it comes to the budget referendum. But I'm suggesting sending out a postcard via every door direct mail. The town has 5571 residences associated with registered voters in town. The cost of this, to send this out, would be roughly $2,600, a little over, which would include the cost of printing the cards as well. I think, if we hear one criticism about communication in town, and again, I think we do a pretty good job of communicating the fact that it is taking place. But this, sending literally an invitation to every registered voter at their household, I think removes the argument that people aren't being properly notified about this, or that the information isn't getting to them. So that's something I'm putting forward as a consideration. Going forward, I would build this into my budget for the referendum, but I don't have that in here now for this current fiscal year. So if we were to do this year, we could take it out of contingency to make it happen this year. Just by point of comparison, I also put in here Totucket Times inserts, which are 8 cents a piece. They circulate to 6,100. There's a difference in the numbers, of course, because those also go to businesses and they don't take into consideration householding by registered voters. So it would just go to every household. But of course, I would also point out Totucket Times already carries information about the referendum in there. We already put that in there. So, if somebody's not reading the Totucket Times, they're not getting it and they're not going to see it anyway. But that's just a price comparison there for you to see. And so that's something that I'm suggesting that we consider for this go-round and for your consideration.
So the Totucket Times, I know we pay to put it in the Totucket Times, but this does not include printing whatever we're going to put
Correct. We'd have to
in.
print it out. Maybe a few $100s probably to print up.
Right.
My guess
So-
would be $500 to $700 for printing up that many
Right,
pieces.
so you're talking about $1,000
Right.
Totucket Times versus $2,650
Correct.
mailing out to the households.
I think this is one of those classic, you can lead the horse to water, but you can't make it drink type scenarios. Plus, a referendum, sometimes people choose not to go to it because it's essentially agreeing with the budget. So to me, it seems like we're throwing away some, you've done, and I'm not just trying to blow smoke up your backside here, but there's more communication now in North Branford than there's ever been. There's a fantastic website. We have great communication in our papers. There's more, we've spent money on town signs, on those, those electronic signs.
I think we have
If
time.
you can't figure it out,
There's not enough signs in this town.
yeah, right. I mean, honestly, this is going to be something that's going to be instantly deposited into the round file, and it's going to be wasted revenue. I can think of other things to do with that money, and I think you've done a great job. Otherwise, it's nothing. It's a positive in what you've already done. I don't think there's anything else.
You send out the
Between the
newsletter.
Totucket Times and
You email the newsletter.
Like I said,
got
you
plenty
could,
out there.
this will literally get thrown away, and then they're still going to complain they didn't know.
How many people came to last year's budget meeting?
Well, 7 or
Not a
12.
lot.
So now, it might-
Well, to the actual budget?
Yeah.
In April, 0.
So 0, so if we put it in the postcard, we might get 2.
Well, the postcard is to vote in May at the budget referendum.
That's
But-
just to let them know
not to
from
go
May 13th.
by not
Which
voting.
there are signs in the town that says May 13th.
Right.
Of the town, which people don't read.
So,
Well,
it's-
we could look at it another way. We can use this as a testing ground.
You who doesn't like to spend money, you like to test around as well.
Well, you got people, we heard it tonight. The information's not getting out there, but we all know that what you just said is true, that Mike's done a terrific job getting the message out, in my opinion, and I think in a lot of our opinions, with the different ways he goes about it. But for whatever, what was it, $2,600? Do it as a one-time and see what happens at the referendum. Because I've been to, a lot of referendum voting even before I was on the council, and it was amazing how many people didn't come, or how small the crowd was that did attend. I remember them doing it in the gym in the high school one time. You wrote on a piece of paper.
oh no, you held up the red card.
Yeah, there's all,
Yes.
Right,
That
yeah, we all
was-
remember doing that.
Right, so, maybe just one last effort at this, because we do want the people to be involved,
Got to offer snacks.
I don't know.
A cheese plate. People come for a cheese
And then we
plate.
could put it to bed, and then next year you just don't, we don't need to do it anymore. What else can we do?
How
I
much
think
does
that's a
it
good
cost to have
compromise.
How much does it cost to have them sign for it?
Sending a register.
Certified, registered mail, certified.
Return signature.
Pretty expensive.
Yeah. Yes. So if you want to think about it and vote on it next month, or you want to just make the decision now, it could go either way. We still have time because it's not until May.
I don't think there's any rush.
We had 227 people vote last
Could
year.
always wait,
Right.
right?
Yeah,
How much?
227 out of
We
uh,
should table
9,225.
and I said something.
2.5%.
Table it to June.
Do we have any billboards in town?
Yeah.
Billboards? No.
No, we have the electronic signs. We bought extra. I think Franny's
I know,
got
we have
2 more,
4
right,
now.
Franny? Got 2 more?
Well, we do
Yeah.
have
They
a
have to
couple
drive.
small.
They have to drive to
billboard
get to
type
the,
things.
Yeah,
the
but they
voting
won't
station.
see them.
So we can,
Oh, wait.
we'll wait until next month. You have time to think about it. We'll vote on it next month.
Well, listen, he
And-
wants to do it now.
No, I did not
But
say
I think
that.
it's great that Mike thought of that. That's another
no
way of
urgency.
getting people.
I know,
Yeah.
thank you,
Right.
Mike.
I think that's wonderful, because we heard somebody complain about communication.
Right, I mean, I think I really only, I'm moving this forward because it's another way to get the message out. I mean, when I've talked to residents about that, particularly ones that feel like the information is not getting to them, and I'll say, well, we had signs on the road. Well, I work from home. Well, it was in the Totucket Times. I don't read that. It was
I
on
can
our
find an
website.
excuse too.
I don't get
For
that.
anything.
I mean, I understand, look,
Children know
there's
that.
a certain level of responsibility for people to find out their own information. But, on the other hand, I didn't think that this was too expensive of a way
Yeah.
to literally send an invitation to every registered voter.
Well, how big is the cards? Is it a?
It would be like 4 by 6.
It's a
I would-
4 by
I would-
6. That's not big enough.
I would say that if we do something like this, that we add something more to it. like if we add some other information, add the website address, add some
Well,
other
that's-
things, so that it's more informational than just the wasted budget.
Yeah, I mean, it would be, my
Tom's
thought
phone number,
about the
first
card
one.
would be that it would be a colored card, just like our referendum signs are, that would
Yeah.
match it. And then on the flip side of it, you would have the polling locations, the times it's open, and a QR code you scan, so you could go online and get all the budget information. So
There you go.
you're not trying to shoehorn too much into a little postcard.
Nice.
Somebody can scan it and go online,
That works.
find the budget stuff, and get all that information.
What if they don't have a phone?
Can
It's
you
like you
also?
knew what I was gonna ask, Mike, because I was gonna ask about a QR code.
Yeah.
So, so can you also plug the reverse 911 or whatever it's called, code?
Oh, yeah, on the card to
Civic
sign up
Ready.
for it.
Civic
Sure.
Ready.
Right.
I mean, just
Yeah.
another thing that people,
Jam that thing.
because,
Yeah.
People have mentioned, well, why don't we use the reverse 911? And we can do that, but the problem is you need to sign up. You have to take the action to actually sign up from it on our website, down at the bottom of the first page. It's right there, you can click on it, but if you don't sign up for it, you're not gonna get a reverse 911. If you don't change, if you changed your phone number or the means of, and you don't update that on there, we don't get that information. And there is no way for the town to verify all of that information.
Well, just to clarify, if it's an emergency broadcast, everybody gets it.
Right, but if it's,
The opt-in is more of the local news kind of thing.
which is what you
Recycling
would
this
use
weekend. Right.
to say, oh, don't forget the budget referendum
Exactly.
vote. That is a non-emergency.
Right.
That
Opt-in
you-
only,
You have to opt in
Correct.
order to get those messages.
correct.
Gotta make
So-
it North Branford.
So there is still some responsibility. and
Right, and we've been
of doing
promoting
it.
that since.
We have,
you know,
and
I've
you've done a
started to
great
do
job
that.
in the newsletter.
Thank you, and I did that in the newsletter that goes in with all the tax bills too. Since then, we've been promoting, sign up for that, and my email newsletter, which
Right.
also includes it. Yep.
Anthony, is there any possibility of using the fire trucks? They can drive around making a public service announcement.
Lasers. We could certainly try.
You could have Santa holding a big sign.
Yeah, right?
That's what I said. Mrs. Claus.
Get one of those big North Branford purple flags, but your way, are also for sale.
They are.
Okay, all right. So now we will move on to financial report, 13125.
Financial report, the key barometers that I focus on, tax collections, our largest revenue source, again exceeding prior year, 95.9% collected compared to 92.0. A big reason for that is the change that the council made where we send people to the collection agency after they miss the first payment. And those that need to register cars are suddenly faced with the fact they need to clean up their bills. Total revenues, 86.7, again, exceeding last year, 81.6. On the expense side, the same culprits have been there all along. The property insurance, again, we talked about that as a change that'll happen after April 1. Overall expenses, 60.0%, slightly ahead of 57.8% last year. But again, as I mentioned previously, we're tying more people up on POs to increase that number, so nothing out of whack there. Report's unremarkable.
Okay. Approval of tax refunds. So that is on page,
193.
193. I just need a motion to.
A motion to approve tax bills.
Okay, motion was made by Deputy Mayor McMillan, seconded by Councilor Diamond. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstain? Motion carries. Okay, the
Was it
next
just that
item.
one line item?
Yeah, it's just.
Just that one.
It's just
Okay.
that one. The next item is disposition of certain town-owned properties, and this is executive, this is why we're going into executive session. So we are just going to skip over that for right now and go on to citizen statements and petitions.
Good evening. When was the last time I told you I was upset with the way you did the budget? I think never. I think the problem with citizens, it shouldn't be your headache if they can't figure out how to find out what they need. Large trash pickup, put it on Facebook. Boy, do people scramble for that. I tell you what, if you get Gary Cole to forecast that, well, while you're mentioning large trash pickup, you might want to mention the referendum. But also look at the purpose of the referendum. How many people are upset with the budget? I mean, you guys really work hard to get it right. With what we got in town for tax money and how to spend it, you do a good job. I'm a no-show at every tax vote because I want it to go. So you're never going to see me at the polls because I'm happy with what you do, but I'm here and I listen. And again, Randall, he does a good job getting the word out. I mean, he's, I don't know how many, what just count up to over 4,000 or 5,000 people?
Oh, no, he's almost
It's like
8.
8,000.
Yeah.
Almost 8.
So again, the way to find out is there. Why should you can't fix, I was going to say you can't fix stupid, but I can't say that. You can't fix the lack of intelligence.
Good thing you didn't.
Yeah, good. You can't fix the lack of intelligence. You can't. You just can't motivate these people. I mean, you've got to kick the rock they're laying under over to get them to even see a little sunlight. So again, I think you really don't have to lose sleep over this. It's on them. If they can't figure it out, shame on them, not shame on you guys. You're doing a good job with what you can. And it's as easy as that. Well, it's not as easy as that because you're going to give up half a month of your personal time coming up. So again, I appreciate the time you get. And I know you make the dollars work as best you can. And I know we don't have a lot of business, and we've always talked about this, but it's just the way things are in town. And again, it's still the greatest town on the shoreline. And I wouldn't live anywhere else. If it cost me more money to live here, I understand that. But I feel I get more bang for my buck. And I'm not unhappy, so you won't see me. So that's one less postcard you have to send out. That should knock it right down.
46 cents.
Cliff's saving us money right now.
So,
Thanks, Cliff.
or do you want the money for the postcard now?
Yeah, I got it.
Okay. I mean, I get upset with people. I'm old, I'm cranky, and you can't motivate people who won't listen to anything. So, again, you're doing a good job. God bless you the next 3 or 4 weeks, and you won't see me because I will be there, I won't be there, which is a yes vote.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Cliff.
We'll miss you, Mr. Potter.
Any other citizen statements?
I just have a couple more things to say. Thank you. It's been a long evening, but I wanted to come and invite everybody Sunday. There is a Common Ground event. We'll be talking about town and how we can bring more people in to start talking. And I've done postcards. Parents don't read them. People don't read them, honestly. But I think what would be great, and I don't know if the function is there, is if you can schedule posts. So like if you schedule it to post every 5 days, because people, it goes in one ear and out the other.
Goldfish.
We just stop listening. So, and give people a little grace, because honestly, coming here is a full-time job. I'm glad that some people are retired, because that's the way that you can do it. But I have some flyers, so if everybody would like to take one, they're at, it will be at the Northford Community Church.
Cool.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate it.
Any other visitor comments?
Did want to note the Bill Savastano email that we got.
Yes. Is it in our packet?
It is. I have it. I can read it
Yes,
if you want. Thank you for getting the agenda posted early. It's appreciated. Nice to see the BOE and Town Council seem to be very much focused on the budget meetings and workshops. I would like to see the part-time CEO position put back in the budget this year. We need reports from that department with their evaluations recently. It's even more important that the residents know the town has their back protecting their property values. I like the idea of sending postcards for the May referendum, that more than what has been done in the past. I will be looking forward to the upcoming workshops, and of course, what the council does to ensure the residents that the mill rate, when finalized, will have minimal impact on our taxes. Some of us can't afford all of the spending. Please, no more. Thank you for your attention. Bill Savastano, Sunnyside Drive.
There it is.
Okay, thank you. Okay. Okay, yes.
I'd like to make a motion to go into executive session pursuant to CGS 1-206D to discuss possible sale of real property and publicity regarding such site and sale could adversely impact the price of the sale.
A second. Oh, and who are we including?
Oh, including.
We've got the town planner also
Town
and the
planner,
assessor.
town attorney, town manager.
Town assessor.
Town assessor.
Town manager.
And finance, sorry.
Assistant town manager.
And assistant town manager. Cliff, you want to?
And
Finance director.
And I said finance.
Okay.
And finance director.
And all members of the council.
And all members of the council, except for Rose.
We're almost out of here.
Except for Bruce.
Okay.
Gotta get a second in there.